Joe Biden rallies with union workers in Philadelphia, "You built America." At his first political rally since announcing his re-election campaign for president in April, Joe Biden told a crowd of labor union supporters, "Wall Street didn't build America, you did. If the investment bankers of this country went on strike tomorrow, no one would notice," Biden said on Saturday during a speech which alluded to his blue-collar childhood roots in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Renewing his long-standing vocal support for labor unions, he continued, "If this room didn't show up to work tomorrow, the whole country would come to a grinding halt, so tell me, who matters more in America?"
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
Country would come to a grinding halt, so tell me, who matters more in America? Saturday's rally was hosted by the AFL-CIO, a federation of 60 labor unions representing 12.5 million workers in the U.S., which has endorsed Biden and the Vice President, Kamala Harris, for re-election in 2024. Other unions that have endorsed Biden ahead of his rally included the American Federation of Teachers as well as the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris are the most pro-labor, pro-public education leaders our country has seen in modern history, the Teachers Federation President, Randi Weingarten, said. She added, "Joe and Kamala understand in their souls the challenges families face, and how important it is to their dignity to earn a decent living and have a shot at owning a home, or securing a retirement, or affording college. They know union membership can be transformative." Lee Saunders, the State, County, and Municipal Employees Federation President, echoed similar sentiments.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
Membership can be transformative. Lee Saunders, the State, County, and Municipal Employees Federation President, echoed similar sentiments, saying, "Joe Biden is the most pro-worker president of our lifetime. He respects and protects working people, especially front-line public service workers, and the essential work they do." Saunders added, "Joe doesn't just thank us for keeping our communities running, he prioritizes our issues and defends our freedoms, the freedom to organize, to earn a living wage, to build thriving communities and to have a seat at the table. And he will help us solve the staffing crisis that is pushing millions of public service workers to their breaking point." Biden began the rally by mentioning that his wife, Jill Biden, belongs to the National Education Association Union and that she is from the Philadelphia area community of Hamilton, New Jersey. "There are a lot of politicians in this country who can't say the word union," Biden said. But on Saturday he declared himself the most pro-union president in history. Biden cited the jobs recovery under his administration and affirmed an end to trickle-down economics during his presidency. All it had done was hollow out the middle class, blow up the deficit, ship jobs overseas, strip the dignity and pride and hope out of community one after another all across America has factories shut down, Biden asserted. He continued by outlining his efforts to oppose Republican legislative policies such as Social Security cuts and what he called unfair tax codes and loopholes utilized by the largest corporation and the wealthy, including tax rates for billionaires that are low when compared to those levied on other workers. "Just pay your fair share, man," Biden quipped. "It's about time the super wealthy start paying their fair share." He concluded his appearance at the rally by enlisting the support of union members in his re-election campaign to fight against Republican efforts to reinstate tax cuts for the wealthy. "They're coming for your jobs, they're coming for your future," he warned. "It's time for everyone, no matter how rich or powerful they are, to start paying their fair share. You've carried this country on your back long enough, it's time for millionaires and billionaires and big corporations to pay their fair share. I can get that done, but I need you badly." Biden's address Saturday echoed September 2021 remarks in which he said, "I intend to be the most pro-union president leading the most pro-union administration in American history." During his victorious 2020 presidential run he had also said, "I'm a union man. Period." In February, the Biden administration announced a new plan to encourage further union membership across the country. The plan includes 70 recommendations that would make it easier for federal employees to join unions and remove barriers for union organizers to talk with workers on federal property. Biden's itinerary on Saturday included taking an aerial tour of the Interstate 95 bridge collapse during the previous weekend in Philadelphia, according to reports. An elevated section of the bridge collapsed on June 11 after a vehicle caught on fire, prompting transportation officials to warn of extensive delays and street closures. For union organizers to talk with workers on federal property. Biden's itinerary on Saturday included taking an aerial tour of the Interstate 95 bridge collapse during the previous weekend in Philadelphia, according to reports. An elevated section of the bridge collapsed on June 11 after a vehicle caught on fire, prompting transportation officials to warn of extensive delays and street closures.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos. Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
India us to step up space cooperation during PM Modi visit. During Prime Minister Narendra Modi's state visit to Washington, D.C. on June 22, India and the United States, U.S., will step up their space-related collaboration in 3 areas of human spaceflight, planetary defense, and commercial space activity, people familiar with the discussions said. The 2 countries are also discussing New Delhi's participation in the Artemis Accords.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
Discussing New Delhi's participation in the Artemis Accords. Under the Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technologies, ICET, agreed upon by both National Security Advisors Jake Sullivan and Ajit Doval, in January, the White House fact sheet had mentioned strengthening human spaceflight cooperation, identifying innovative approaches for both countries to collaborate in the commercial space including through a joint working group, and identifying new talent and encouraging exchanges by expanding the professional engineer and scientist exchange program. During Modi's visit, those familiar with the discussions said, there will be movement on all fronts. On human spaceflight, it is understood that there will be deeper collaboration on astronaut training, crew rescue, and other activities. The January fact sheet mentioned this would include advanced training for an Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO/Department of Space astronaut at NASA Johnson Space Center. This, people said, would help India's Gaganyaan mission, which aims to demonstrate human space flight capability by launching a crew of 3 members to an orbit of 400 kilometers.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
Would help India's Gaganyaan mission, which aims to demonstrate human space flight capability by launching a crew of 3 members to an orbit of 400 kilometers for a 3-day mission now scheduled for 2025. If the negotiations translate into concrete outcomes, it will also be the first time India and the US will work together on planetary defense. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, has a Planetary Defense Coordination Office set up in 2016 that looks for and catalogs near-Earth objects, NEOs, such as comets, asteroids, and potentially hazardous objects, which come within 30 million miles of the Earth's orbit. It warns of the potential impact of NEOs and works with other governments to ensure global planetary defense efforts are coordinated and streamlined. Another area where both countries will step up their cooperation is commercial space activity. With India liberalising its space sector in 2020, the country is home to a growing private sector space industry with Start UPS at the cutting edge of technology. The growing collaboration will be reflected both at IndusX, an event being hosted by the US India Business Council to accelerate startup innovation and connect them with big capital and governments, as well as the constitution of a working group. India and the US are also discussing the possibility of New Delhi's participation in the Artemis Accords, a multilateral exploration program led by the US, with the participation of 24 other countries and 1 territory, that establishes a framework for civil cooperation and peaceful use of the Moon, Mars, and other astronomical objects. On Friday, a senior NASA official Bhavya Lal told PTI that the agency feels quite strongly that India should be a part of the accords. In recent years, India and the US have stepped up their space cooperation. At the 2+2 dialogue between the foreign and defense ministers of both countries in April 2022, they agreed on an agreement on working together on space situational awareness. ISRO and NASA are also working on NISAR, scheduled to be launched from India in 2024. Between the foreign and defense ministers of both countries in April 2022, they agreed on an agreement on working together on space situational awareness. ISRO and NASA are also working on NISAR, scheduled to be launched from India in 2024.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos. Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
Canada's population surpasses 40 million. Canada's population has surpassed 40 million people, according to Statistics Canada. The Federal Statistics Agency's population clock uses modeling to estimate Canada's population in real time. The counter hit the 40 million mark just before 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. This is an exciting milestone for Canada, said Chief Statistician Anil Arora in a media statement. It is a strong signal that Canada remains a dynamic and welcoming country, full of potential. Canada's population growth rate currently stands at 2.7%.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
Canada's population growth rate currently stands at 2.7%. That's the highest annual growth rate since 1957, when Canada was in the middle of its post-war baby boom, says Statistics Canada. Matti Semiatäki, director of the Infrastructure Institute and a professor at the Department of Geography and Planning at the University of Toronto, said the population milestone presents opportunities and challenges for Canada. This is a recognition that we're a country that's been growing for some time, that we are a country that continues to attract people and is an attractive place for newcomers, he said. Population grew by over 1 million last year. Canada's population grew by a record 1.05 million last year, and about 96% of the rise was due to international migration, the agency said. Semiatäki said Canada needs to attract newcomers to fill jobs left vacant by retiring baby boomers. From an economic perspective, newcomers have been really important both to fill jobs that are here and to connect us with the economies out into the wider world, he said. But a growing population also.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
Really important both to fill jobs that are here and to connect us with the economies out into the wider world, he said. But a growing population also presents challenges, particularly with housing, Semiatäki said. The average price of a Canadian resale home has increased 4 months in a row this year, according to the Canadian Real Estate Association. The average selling price of a home in April, the month for which the most recent data is available, was $716,000. Semiatäki said Canada urgently needs to build more housing to accommodate Canada's growing population. We are in a crunch. We haven't been building enough units across the country, especially at the affordable levels, he said. But Semiatäki said attracting more skilled labor can also bolster the workforce needed to build more housing. Canada's population topped 30 million in 1997 and could reach 50 million as early as 2043 if current trends continue, Statistics Canada said. 97 and could reach 50 million as early as 2043 if current trends continue, Statistics Canada said.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos. Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
Commentary, Singapore and Asia can't be passive observers as Saudi Arabia reshapes football. Saudi Arabia is spending huge amounts of money in a bid to become a sporting superpower, leaving the world wondering what will happen next. For Singapore and the rest of Asia, it is an opportunity as much as a problem. At the end of December 2022, Riyadh club Al Nassr announced the signing of Cristiano Ronaldo, a five-time Ballon d'Or winner who is regarded as one of the greatest players in football.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
Ballon d'Or winner who is regarded as one of the greatest players in football. The deal is said to be worth more than 400 million euros, 437 million US dollars. In June, newly crowned Saudi League champions Al Ittihad added reigning Ballon d'Or winner Karim Benzema from Real Madrid and N'Golo Kante from Chelsea for another few hundred million euros. While Lionel Messi passed on a reportedly blockbuster deal to play in Saudi, there is little doubt more huge names will be heading to the capital. The question is who they will be. Offers have reportedly been made to stars such as Romelu Lukaku, Luka Modric, Neymar, and more. Famous coaches such as Jose Mourinho and Zinedine Zidane have also reportedly been approached by Saudi but rejected the deals. Saudi's football power grab. With such stars being offered hundreds of millions a year, this new development has caused even the biggest clubs in the world to sit up and take notice. The Liverpool Echo's headline summed it up.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
New development has caused even the biggest clubs in the world to sit up and take notice. The Liverpool Echo's headline summed it up. Saudi Arabia transfer exodus could give Liverpool a big problem. It is not just about spending big amounts on big names. The Chinese Super League did that in the previous decade with very mixed results. Saudi Arabia has a long-term strategy to become one of the top 10 leagues in the world. In June, the country's Public Investment Fund, PIF, took over control of the kingdom's four biggest clubs Al Hilal, Al Nassr, Al Ittihad, and Al Ahly. There is a drive to develop these clubs into revenue-generating commercial entities which can challenge the big teams of Europe on and off the pitch in the years to come. According to reports, the kingdom wants to quadruple the Saudi Professional League's annual revenue to 1.8 billion rials, 480 million US dollars, by 2030 from 450 million rials currently. It also expects the league's market value to rise to more than 8 billion rials from 3 billion rials over the same period. If that sounds far-fetched, recent events in golf show that anything can happen. In 2021, PIF founded Live Golf, a new tour that attracted some of the biggest names in the sport. After 18 months of virtual war with the established PGA Tour in the United States, a split in the sport and numerous lawsuits, the golfing world was stunned on June 6 when the PGA announced it would merge with Live Golf to create a global, yet-to-be-named, competition. It was a stunning demonstration of how, in sport, massive financial power can bring massive and rapid change. Challenges and opportunities in Asia. Saudi Arabia has long been a sporting powerhouse in Asia but now has ambitions to become a global force in the coming years and decades. Singapore has also been wrestling with how to develop its football scene for years and this has become more critical after recent performances. In May, the under-22 team failed to progress past the group stage at the SEA Games for the fifth consecutive time, a sorry campaign that ended with a 7-0 thrashing at the hands of bitter rivals Malaysia. The senior side missed out on qualification for the 2023 Asian Cup unlike Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam. Singapore, four-time AF Championship winners, have been eliminated in the first round in 4 of the past 5 editions of the regional tournament. It means that any new development in Asian football has to be examined. Ultimately, it is Singapore's choice in how it reacts to events in Riyadh. Strategically, Singapore needs to decide very quickly as to what its position is on Saudi Arabia and the money flooding into sport generally there. Simon Chadwick, professor of sport and geopolitical economy at SCMA Business School, told me. Does Singapore compete, or does it collaborate? Given the sums that will be needed to compete, the latter may be the best course of action, especially as the Saudi Arabian Football Federation signed a memorandum of understanding with its Singapore counterpart last November to strengthen ties and further the development of the sport in each country. For example, rumors that Saudi Arabia is considering establishing a new global football club competition could be an area to work together. Given the predisposition towards certain European football teams in Singapore, it may create opportunities to collaborate with Saudi Arabia, said Professor Chadwick. Asian competitions. One tangible difference is going to be the sight of huge stars playing in Asian club competitions. The next edition of the AFC Champions League could see, for example, Ronaldo take on Benzema. And with other stars set to follow, there is the potential for many glamorous games in the future. It increases the incentive for the best Singapore clubs to play in the same competitions as these sporting megastars. There have been some famous players and teams visiting Singapore for decades, but the prospect of some of the best players in the world coming to the country and playing competitive games would be completely new and can help breathe life into continental club competitions. Former FIFA director and AFC senior executive James Kitching sees Saudi's investment in football as leading to higher standards in Asia. It will increase competitiveness in men's AFC club competitions, as other clubs strive to keep up and compete with the Saudi clubs, Kitching was cited as saying in Arab News. Other nations will need to invest heavily in their technical development and club professionalization. Ultimately, Saudi Arabia is changing football and the rest need to adapt and take advantage or be left behind. The AFC needs to pay attention and decide how Asian football can benefit from what Saudi Arabia is now doing, said Professor Chadwick. Instead of standing and observing, there needs to be active engagement. It will increase competitiveness in men's AFC club competitions, as other clubs strive to keep up and compete with the Saudi clubs, Kitching was cited as saying in Arab News. Other nations will need to invest heavily in their technical development and club professionalization. Ultimately, Saudi Arabia is changing football and the rest need to adapt and take advantage or be left behind. The AFC needs to pay attention and decide how Asian football can benefit from what Saudi Arabia is now doing, said Professor Chadwick. Instead of standing and observing, there needs to be active engagement. Instead of standing and observing, there needs to be active engagement.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos. Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
Michael Gove to abstain from Partygate report vote. Michael Gove has said he disagrees with the parliamentary investigation that found Boris Johnson deliberately misled MPs over the Partygate scandal, and will abstain from voting on it in the Commons. The UK Levelling Up secretary claimed the Commons Privileges Committee's recommendation that Johnson should be suspended for 90 days over repeated contempts of Parliament was not merited.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
Over repeated contempts of Parliament was not merited. While Johnson cannot serve the penalty because he has quit Parliament, the cross-party group of MPs chaired by Labour's Harriet Harman has recommended that the former MP is banned from holding a pass to access Parliament after a series of offences. Gove refused to be drawn on whether he believed Rishi Sunak should back the report, saying it was a matter for each MP to decide for themselves. But he said it was not right to reduce the report to a single badge to pin on Boris Johnson, as there were complexities in the report. Speaking to the 24newsread.blogspot.com Sunday with Laura Kinsberg show, he said, "I don't agree with the conclusion. However, personally, the decision to impose a 90-day penalty is not merited by the evidence that the committee has put forward." The former Conservative Minister Justine Greening is among a growing number of Tory MPs who plan to get behind the committee's work. "It would be easier to persuade the public that we've moved on from it if MPs simply went into the House of Commons on Monday and supported the Privileges Committee report," she told.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
easier to persuade the public that we've moved on from it if MPs simply went into the House of Commons on Monday and supported the Privileges Committee report, she told the 24newsread.blogspot.com. People are in Parliament to take votes, and I think they should be decisive about supporting the Privileges Committee's work. Essentially, it's important to recognize that MPs, and especially Prime Ministers, cannot mislead Parliament and be allowed to get away with that. The Privileges Committee found Johnson had closed his mind to the truth and would have faced a 90-day suspension from the Commons had he not quit in fury at its conclusions before the report was published. He deliberately misled the House, on an issue of the greatest importance to the House and to the public, and did so repeatedly, the report said. It added that Johnson's attempt to brand the committee a kangaroo court amounts to an attack on our democratic institutions. The findings came in an excoriating 106-page report published on Thursday, which also confirmed that the government last month handed over evidence of a further 16 lockdown gatherings at Number 10 and Chequers that were potentially problematic. If the report is not opposed, then it could simply be nodded through the Commons, saving the Prime Minister from having to choose between backing it and infuriating Johnson or voting against the report and risking public anger. Downing Street said on Friday that Sunak hadn't fully had time to consider the report. The Prime Minister takes these processes very seriously, which is why he intends to take the time to study the report closely, a spokesperson added. The sanctions proposed by the Conservative Majority Committee are expected to pass regardless, with only a relatively small group of Johnson loyalists expected to oppose the report's findings. A spokesperson added. The sanctions proposed by the Conservative Majority Committee are expected to pass regardless, with only a relatively small group of Johnson loyalists expected to oppose the report's findings.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos. Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
David Vann to take leave from Parliament as more former coalition colleagues call for him to resign altogether. Victorian Senator David Vann will take leave from Parliament this week as more of his former coalition colleagues call for his resignation from Parliament altogether. Vann resigned from the Liberal Party on Saturday after he was dropped from the Federal Party room by leader Peter Dutton and stripped of organisational support in the wake of sexual misconduct allegations being raised against him. Vann has denied the allegations and said he was deeply distressed and hurt that I have not been afforded procedural fairness in relation to these claims.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
And hurt that I have not been afforded procedural fairness in relation to these claims. Dutton called for Vann to quit the Parliament on Friday. On Sunday, in an interview with the Nine Network, Nationals leader David Littleproud agreed. He was elected on the Liberal Party Senate ticket. If he wants to remove himself from the Liberal Party, then he should probably also remove himself from the Senate, Littleproud said. That call came as Nationals Senator Bridget McKenzie has defended Lydia Thorpe's use of parliamentary privilege to raise allegations against Vann. McKenzie also said on Sunday there would have been cheers at how swiftly the Liberal leader, Peter Dutton, acted in addressing the allegations and removing Vann from the party room. The Nationals senator said she disagreed with her former leader Barnaby Joyce, who lashed out against Thorpe's use of privilege to name Vann as the senator she alleged had harassed and inappropriately touched her in a parliamentary stairwell in 2021. Vann immediately denied the allegations and has continued to assert his innocence. In an interview with ABC's Insiders program, McKenzie said Thorpe was absolutely.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
Allegations and has continued to assert his innocence. In an interview with ABC's Insiders program, McKenzie said Thorpe was absolutely within her right to use parliamentary privilege to raise those issues as she did. When we do discuss sexual assault in the way that we have in the recent past, it can be incredibly traumatic for those people who have been through those types of incidents, McKenzie said. And whether it's our staff, our colleagues, or indeed the broader community, this time, just like the last time, there have been quite visceral responses, which I believe hers was. Mackenzie said she had been aware of rumors regarding Van but had no first-hand knowledge and did not listen to gossip. She said she believed there would have been celebrations at how quickly Dutton took action once he was aware of allegations being made against one of his colleagues. I think there was a lot of cheers silently across parliamentary offices with such decisive action being taken by a leader, Mackenzie said. We know that both the Labour Party, One Nation, the Greens, the Liberal Party, all political parties have faced these type of internal challenges over the recent past, and for a leader to be so decisive, I think was a testament to his strength of feeling around these matters, though. Dutton said he had not acted on the back of Thorpe's allegations, but, when his Queensland Liberal National Party colleague and former Senator Amanda Stoker subsequently came to him alleging Van had inappropriately touched her at a social function in 2020, he had made the decision to expel Van from the federal Liberal Party room. The opposition leader said a third woman had come forward to allege inappropriate behavior by Van, but he did not go into detail and called for the senator to resign from the parliament. Thorpe raised allegations in the Senate on Wednesday, which she withdrew later that evening. She then gave a fuller statement on Thursday. The Victorian Liberal branch withdrew organisational support for Van while considering his future with the party. Van announced his resignation from the party on Saturday evening. I cannot remain a member of a party that tramples upon the very premise on which our justice system is predicated, he said. This is a travesty of justice, and I reiterate that I deny the allegations against me. Van will now sit in the Senate on the crossbench. Evening. I cannot remain a member of a party that tramples upon the very premise on which our justice system is predicated, he said. This is a travesty of justice, and I reiterate that I deny the allegations against me. Van will now sit in the Senate on the crossbench.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos. Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.